Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this video. All right, we are going to be talking about check engine lights. If you guys don't know too much about check engine lights, it's probably one of the most worrying things. If you drive a car and that light comes on in your head, you're probably thinking it's gonna be a huge problem because there's a little light of an engine, right? You think it's an engine issue, it's going to cost you money, there's going to be a huge problem, and it gets you worried. But let's talk about that in a way where I'll give you some perspective on the light so that you don't get worried if you're the kind of person who knows that your car is in fairly decent condition and you actually do some upkeep on your vehicle as far as changing the oil and everything. All right, and I'll also tell you ways in which to clear the check engine light. There's a couple ways to do it. All right, basically the check engine light tells you that your ECU, your car's computer, is picking up that there's an issue with a component, an electrical component, electrical sensor on your vehicle. If you guys probably already know that there's a bunch of sensors for the engine, there's a bunch of sensors for the evaporative system, there's a sensor for the ECU, and if any of those have issues, it's gonna tell the computer, your car's computer, that it has issues, and it's gonna throw you a code. Now, most of the time when people have the check engine light, it's probably the most general thing that'll come up is a O2 sensor, a code for an O2 sensor. Which is not a big deal. A lot of times if you have that light, you could probably still drive your car normally. It probably won't, a lot of times it probably won't even, you probably won't tell a difference whether your car is driving bad or not. And sometimes it doesn't actually cause your vehicle to drive differently. But if you guys have that check engine light, what you guys need to do is to figure out what's causing it. Now, if you guys don't know, there is something called an OBD2 scanner where you guys could plug in to an OBD port, and that OBD port has existence since about 1996, 1997, around that area, and it's called an OBD2 port, and you got a scanner that you could actually plug it in and scan it. And these scanners go from anywhere from $20 at Walmart to the multi-thousands of dollars, depending on the amount of things that you want your scanner to do. However, for the most part, most people with the check engine light could actually just use a regular scanner and scan it. It'll probably just give you some kind of, most of the time, a code for the emissions system. For the most part, that's not going to affect how your vehicle drives. Now, I will tell you something. If you guys do get a code for the emission system, if you guys want to figure out like a quick way to try to resolve that situation, a lot of times it's your gas cap that's loose. You either got to tighten the gas cap, erase the code, and then drive it. That code doesn't come back. It pretty much means that that situation, that problem has been resolved. Now, if that problem has not been resolved, as a result of that, you might want to buy a brand new gas cap, or you might want to figure out exactly what's causing the code. It might be an O2 sensor, it might be your catalytic converter, it might be a bunch of different things, as far as maybe a mass airflow sensor, etc., etc. Kind of depends on what that code specifically is. Now, that's pretty much a generalized a perspective on what the check engine light is, what it does, and how it affects your car's ability to drive and to analyze data, etc., etc. Now, if you guys want to delete that code, I'm going to tell you guys how you guys can do it. There's a couple ways to do it. If you guys buy an OBD2 scanner, you guys can delete the code from the OBD2 scanner. 99% OBD2 scanners allow you to delete the code. Now, if you guys go to an AutoZone and have them read the code, they probably won't delete it for you, because if they delete the code, then if you have any issues, they could be liable for it. So they won't do that as a policy pretty much, but you can do it that way. It's $20. It's well worth getting. If you guys own a car, you guys just plug it in and you just read anything that comes up as far as codes and information on your vehicle. However, if you guys are in a situation where you guys don't want to do that, what you guys could do is a couple other things. You guys could actually take the fuse off from the fuse box, the ECU fuse, ECM fuse. Now, the car these days have multiple ECM fuses, but older vehicles have one ECM fuse. All you gotta do is just read your cover and see what the fuse is, and then unplug it and plug it for a couple of minutes, plug it back in, and essentially what happens is that actually stops your ECU of electricity. Obviously, there's no electricity going through it. It's not going to save any information. It's going to delete it. It's gonna reset everything back to whatever it was, factory. It's a reset pretty much of your ECU. Another way you guys could reset your ECU is you guys could actually take the negative cable off the battery for about a minute, and essentially that does the same thing, where it actually resets your ECU, resets a lot of different things on your vehicle. And then after a couple of minutes, you just plug it back in, and essentially at that point you would clear the check engine light. Now, there's a difference between a check engine light and a blinking check engine light. Now, if you have a check engine light, you could probably drive it. You probably won't notice any kind of difference in your ability to drive the vehicle. However, if you have a blinking check engine light, there's a good chance that if you have a blinking check engine light, check engine light will tell you that there is something that is there's a problem with your vehicle that needs to be addressed immediately. You will definitely feel some differences in the way your car is operating, the way your engine is sounding. You might have a misfire that causes it. You might have, a more serious situation. Normally, blinking check engine lights telling you that there is a situation that's serious that you need to resolve, and it may put your vehicle into limp mode. It may actually shut down your car if you drive it a little bit more. That's a serious situation, so you guys want to check that out. Now, a lot of people want to clear the check engine light because of inspection, and I'll just tell you guys how that works. As far as if you clear the check engine light, if you have a check engine light for a code, you clear it. That doesn't actually mean that you're going to pass the inspection, because when you put in an what happens is your vehicle goes through a drive cycle. All right, it goes through a drive cycle, and there's a bunch of sensors that it reads to make sure that all the sensors are working, all the parts are working. Now, normally what happens is if you have a check engine light, you could have one. If you take into inspection after clearing it, you can only have one code, one monitor that's not cleared, meaning that one sensor that the vehicle hasn't read yet. So you have to clear about 90% of the sensors before you take it to the inspection. When you clear the check engine light, you essentially erase the whole entire drive history. So you're gonna have to drive it for a good 25-30 miles. Some vehicles take a lot longer to do as far as the drive cycle is concerned, to check that to see whether that to see whether that check engine light comes back on or not. So in any case, your best bet, and I know a lot of people don't want to do this because it's expensive. For the most part, if you're trying to figure out how to delete your check engine light to pass inspection, chances are it's probably expensive. But you're probably going to have to resolve the issue if your check engine light comes back on immediately, or it comes on it comes on again after a little bit of driving, chances are there's an issue that you really need to fix, because it's going to keep on doing that. So anyway, I hope this has helped you guys out as far as figuring out your situation. Please subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up. Appreciate your time. All right, guys. Take care.